Hi, my name is Natalie Vedeka. I'm the Director of Education for FreeMotion Fitness, and today is my pleasure to teach you about the Genesis line in FreeMotion. You're going to learn about the benefits of cable training. You're also going to learn how to progress a client. It's for our grandmas, it's for our children. This cable machine can help anybody reach any goal. FreeMotion began in 1999. There's a man by the name of Roy Simonson, and he was a high-level velodrome cyclist. And one day he went snowboarding with his son, and the next day when he woke up, he was sore. What he discovered was that the way that we're training in the gym does not transfer into the way that we move into the world. Because one-dimensional training does not transfer into our three-dimensional world. In this world, in life, and in sport, and in business even, we push, we pull, we bend, we lunge, we rotate. And that's what the light bulb went on for him. What he did was he recruited some trainers, and they came into a room and they built this big cage, and they attached pulleys to that cage. And he said, move. Start to move. And those trainers, that's exactly what they did, is they started to move and they started to mimic those movements that we move out in the world on those cables and on that cage. And so that is how Genesis was born. That was the beginning of FreeMotion. So how does FreeMotion, how does Genesis apply to you? How does it help you reach your goals? Well, let's think about it. As a mom, I'm at the grocery store and I'm holding my 2-year-old in my hand because I don't want to run out into the cars. And then I also have to open up the trunk and I have to start putting groceries into the back of the car. Do you think FreeMotion is going to make me stronger in that moment right there? Absolutely. What about a golf athlete or a tennis athlete? Those athletes, the baseball players, where rotation is so important to their sport because that's where they get their power. Think FreeMotion is going to help increase the power and the strength in that moment? Absolutely. You see, FreeMotion rises up to meet us in our life, in our fitness level, regardless of the fitness level you are at and regardless of the goal that you're trying to achieve. FreeMotion spends a lot of time and energy on research. The reason we do that is because we are dedicated. It is our passion to bring you the truth. We want to teach you exactly how this cable and how these machines interact with your body. We also spend a lot of time and energy in building a global master coach team. And two of those individuals, Tim Church and Lisa Renee Tuminello, they're mentors of mine. I've learned a ton from them, and they're going to be a part of this video today. Tim's going to teach us about the progressions on the Genesis piece, and Lisa Renee is going to show us some really cool movements on the dual cable cross. Before we get there, I want to touch on a few unique features on the Genesis line. Specifically, this is the chest piece. There are 12 pieces in the entire Genesis circuit. People are intimidated by machines where they have to make multiple adjustments. So FreeMotion solved that. No seat adjustments. You just sit, grab those handles, and begin to move. Another really unique feature about the Genesis line are these swivel pulleys. And what that allows for me to do is even come off the back of the machine and create movement patterns. At that point, I can rotate, I can do tricep extension. All of those primal movements that we talked about in the beginning can be created on any piece in the Genesis line. Hands down, my most favorite part about the Genesis machines is the ability to progress our clients. Like I mentioned earlier, these machines rise up to meet us, to meet our clients where our fitness level is at. So I've asked Tim Church, come on in, Tim. He's going to take me through those progressions. I want you to see. We're going to start in the most supported position, okay?
Perfect. Thanks, Natalie. Have a seat. And these machines have seemingly endless progressions, but we're going to go through some of the basics, starting with simple and working to a very advanced progression. For, as Natalie said, the never stay home mom or the grandmothers, all the way to the elite athletes. So Natalie's going to start shoulders back in that tall, upright position, tall and proud, both hands, and just press forward. As simple as that. Nice and fluid. You'll notice that those cables will rise to her height. That's why there's no adjustments needed. And now you'll give me this handle, keep that one, this one on the hip, still tall and proud. It's a single arm. So now it's asymmetrical loading. You'll see how we have that torque on the midsection, though we're still supported in the backrest here.
I can definitely feel in my right foot, I'm planting down hard.
Absolutely. So we have the ground force already working even in the seated position here. Excellent. Now from there, let's go back. We're going to make another change. We'll go back to symmetrical, or both hands at the same time. Bring your hands in front of you. Good. Sitting up nice and tall. And this time, all we're going to do is come off the backrest a little. Good. How tall are you, Natalie? 6 what?
I'm 5'2".
Good. We're going to be 5'3" the rest of the day.
There we go.
Beautiful, because that posture is what we're going to strengthen and where free motion really is at that separation. Press out here again. Excellent. Now the pad is no longer supporting the spine, so Natalie has to do that with those deep abdominal muscles, right? This is what supports you all day long. How about up here? So it's an incline press. What about down here as a decline press? Good. And then what about here, both hands? Good, because that's the way we move in the real world, right? What about over here? Because we got to be symmetrical, right? And over here one more time. Excellent. Now the next progression, all we're going to do is simply take away the machine's support, which requires your body to add more and more support. So now as we move our body even further away from the backrest, there's even less support. Let's get just a couple repetitions here. It's those small progressions that really keep the clients engaged and coming back for more when you show that they're successful every time they come in, learning something new about their body and how much stronger they're going to get in the real world.
And it's so cool to feel right here in this position, in this movement, in a fixed, isolated piece. Of course, I'd be feeling it in my chest and in my shoulders. Right now, I'm feeling it all the way to my big toe. It's trying to grip onto that floor so that I don't fall backwards. And that's head to toe. That's the magic of free motion.
Excellent. And since we don't carry a backrest around with us all day, there's application to our daily lives, right? So now we can go one more step. How about just lift one foot up? Even more in that big toe, right?
Yes.
But how the nervous system responds from that big toe all the way up to where the work is being generated by the arms, that's the secret of the nervous system, and that's the secret of how we apply this to daily living. It makes every day a stronger, more successful you. Perfect. Put that foot down, and Natalie, we're going to now stand up right where you are, straddling the seat. I'm going to take let's switch hands. That hand had a little more work.
Yeah.
Let's switch to this one. Good. And so left hand, left foot back, right foot forward. So in this case, when we're totally unsupported, a small stagger stance is going to give us a little more support. So this is where we'll start. So each progression should have small measurable gains in function for their body or in the weight that we're lifting or the time that we're lifting that weight. So Natalie, with that stagger stance, give me a few presses here. Good. And now let's play with it here. All the way up, across a little bit. You see that natural rotation. How about way out here? Excellent. So the planes of motion where we reach and move in daily life, again, free motion allows us to train the way we move, as you can see here. We have the split stance, then you can go a square stance. Perfect. We can go two arm, we can go one arm. Now let's have a lot of fun. We're going to progress, move around to the other side where we can have a lot of fun. There's nothing to encumber movement on this side. So with both hands, we can start even using the legs and arms same time. Step forward with one foot, both arms press. Great. And now switch legs. Good. Now one arm press. Excellent. Perfect. So we have all this movement. How about this, Natalie? We get into a little quarter squat right there.
Yeah.
Still both hands. And now how about a right, left? Just nice and fluid. Get a little rhythm going there. That's what picks the heart rate up, keeps it engaging. Now can you slowly move your whole body to the right? And you can see the lines of resistance are changing. She has to ambulate all at the same time of coordinating from the big toe all the way up to the big finger. Perfect. How about we show a little bit of rotation on this side? It's one of the things cable does best. And while standing, as you rotate across, you'll notice, as we mentioned before, the safety of cables is such the hips are not locked into a machine. They're not fixed. And so to protect the lower back, if anything goes wrong, the hips will instantly be the shutoff valve and protect you. Your shoulders, your knees, your ankles can all work together and communicate while delivering power in that rotational pattern. And so some of the benefits that we always talk about with cables is decreasing joint pain, where we can engage the entire body and that stress is over the entire unit, which creates more function, but also less pain. And we know less pain for our clients means more frequency in the gym, and consistency yields more results than anything.
Yeah, so let me demonstrate that for you. So what Tim's talking about, for example, if I'm here in split leg pushing, And right here in this position, I'm feeling something in my shoulder that it doesn't like. Guess what? I can just come below it or above it and come right around that pain. That's where the decrease in pain comes from.
And there's no quicker way out of the gym than before you've even made a habit. We have little aches and pains that we're going to take time off for, right?
Yep.
And so that's the beauty of cables. It's what I'm passionate about. There's no better breeder of success than success. And you're going to have success day one on the FreeMotion Genesis line.
Every time you get on this machine. And Tim, do you remember that study? It was done by Keith Spenowin. And he talked about how cable allows us to have an increase in strength. And it had to do, they were testing on the bench and how including cable increased their strength in the bench by 58%. There was also an increase in balance that he tested in that. Do you remember the percentage on that?
Yeah, balance was like 196%. It was ridiculous.
Yeah.
And if you think about it, how the nervous system works, along with gravity, what we know every day, how our bodies respond to the world, this mimics that exact position, those movements.
Guaranteed, guaranteed. So those are all the benefits of cable and Genesis. And Tim was so nice to show us some of these progressions. The cool thing about it too is that we could really be on this camera for like 2 more hours and continue to show you those progressions. So be creative, use your creativity, but use it in a smart way so that you give your client what they need to reach their specific goal. Tim did such a great job at showing us those progressions. The whole point, you guys, is to train in the gym the way that we move in life and sport. Tim, thanks so much.
You got it.
Thank you for showing us.
Thanks.
Awesome. The ultimate goal with FreeMotion is to get our clients who are able to their feet. That's when we get them connected head to toe. And that's when they begin to move better in their life and in the sports that they love. There is no better piece of equipment to do this than the dual cable cross. It is the gold standard of human movement coming together to meet equipment. So let me introduce you to it. The dual cable cross is the cornerstone of FreeMotion. The possibilities on this machine are endless. I've asked Lisa Renee now to join us to show us some of the movement patterns that can be created on this great machine.
Thank you, Natalie. So what we know and understand about the dual cable cross with FreeMotion is that we have the ability to create movement patterns for any clientele, for any fitness level or ability, and that we can move from high to low or anywhere in between on the dual cable, and also to move the arms in and out. So you can see and understand how the possibilities are endless. And today we're going to begin on high. And we believe that in any movement, rotation really drives those movements and drives our ability to have strength and balance and to work efficiently between strength and balance. So, Natalie, what I'd like you to do is just to grab the handle, and I'm going to join you.
Perfect.
All right, fantastic. So, Natalie, you and I are going to get into a little bit of an athletic squat, yes? And simply rotate. Right. So as a personal trainer, I can be working with my client, demonstrating and having them go through the movements, or I could have Natalie keep going. So Natalie, let's show our viewers how you can turn around with that. Very, very simply. She pivoted her body, turned around, and back to the same movement. Now, we also know that there's a lot of cable travel, so we can get a little bit more athletic with those movement patterns. At the same time, we might be having a little bit of a metabolic response. Or I could ask Natalie to turn around, face me. Natalie, slow that down. Focus on your stabilizers. Fantastic. For our golfers out there, they could mimic the movement, mimic the areas where they need to strengthen themselves in the same type of rotation from high to low. So you can see how one movement pattern can look many, many different ways. So Natalie, let's do this. How about a pull? What I'd like you to do is stand and face in a split stance. Yes, there you are, and simply pull. So whether your clientele might be a young athlete or a young user, imagine kids coming up here and you say pull. They know exactly what to do because they're used to doing that on a playground, right? Or I could have a 90, 95-year-old client who needs to strengthen their body to balance as they go through their daily lives. This would be an important and powerful move. So Natalie, as you're pulling, and you can see her taking that pull in many different directions, right? Her movements are designed by her body and how she creates that. Fantastic. So let's do this. Natalie, why don't you grab both handles? Great. Natalie, I want you to pull. Now, in our fitness industry, we think of this as a lat pull down, right? If we were to sit on a piece of equipment, fantastic exercise. But look what Natalie's doing with that. She is lunging back. She's adding some rotation. She's adding some movement to that. Some bilateral movement, also some unilateral movement. So great job, Natalie. That is super. So let's do this. Let's take our arms down to more of a chest level. Simply, we pulled the pin out, moved it down, and there you are. And Natalie, let's just also bring our range of motion in a bit. Now, we can be precise and move it to the exact same place, but we know that life is not precise, and our movements in life aren't precise. So does it really matter that it is perfectly equal from one side to the other? Probably not. So Natalie, what I'd like you to do is grab that handle. Again, let's go back to rotation, one of our cornerstone movements. And Natalie, I want you to get in a little bit of an athletic squat, drop your shoulders down, breathe deep. We know that all the movements engage the deepest muscles of the trunk and spine, those intrinsic muscles that allow us to react with the ground. Natalie, I want you to rotate. So as a personal trainer, I've not had to give Natalie instructions in 15 different parts. I asked her to grab the handle, a little bit of an athletic squat, and move and rotate. Great job, Natalie, rotating. So just like we did from high to low, I want you to rotate but change directions. So one rotation this direction, quick pivot with the feet, a rotation to the other direction. So now Natalie has taken rotation and she's added all kind of stimuli to the body and her brain and her muscles. Everything in between are working together as one integrated unit. So now let's be a little bit more sport specific about it. How about a forehand, she already has it, and a backhand in tennis. So you can see that as a trainer with your clientele, you can make this very personal to the things that they do outdoors, bring it indoors, and create the movements that will make them stronger to step back out those doors. Great job, Natalie. So let's, Natalie, again, I would like you to use both of the handles.
Face forward.
Face forward, please.
Get out my way.
Absolutely. So changing the weights is very simple and something that your clientele will be comfortable with each movement. Natalie, I would like you to press or push. Fantastic. So Natalie decided to incorporate a lunge in it immediately. And there's a lot of balance going on. And now she's changing the movement with her arms from more of a press or a push to a fly. Single arm, both arms. And on and on and on the possibilities would go. Fantastic, Natalie. Release those handles. Let's take the arms of the FreeMotion Dual all the way down. Again, now I have the ability to take the arms and move them in or out at the same time. So what we do know is that with the different movements, and whether we're high or low, our body will have to work with or against gravity. And so we'll adjust our workload such that we can perform those very efficiently and smoothly. So Natalie, what I'd like you to do is to grab onto that handle, face in a split stance, and pull. So you might remember this, she did the same movement coming from high, but very different when she's pulling from low. Think about how that would apply in her everyday life, whether she's reaching down to grab some groceries or picking up her beautiful girls and putting them on her hip. Fantastic. She's turned it into a little bit of an arm movement. Great job. So Natalie, now what I'd like you to do, same thing you're going to pull. I would like you to be in a little bit of athletic squat position. Cross your arms, grab the handles,
You got it.
and row. Let's start with a squat and pull. Now with any of these movements, we could break it down into parts. I could start Natalie without a squat, just in this position, and have her slowly move through a pull, or sitting on a ball, or standing on one leg. So the progressions are endless. And it's so easy to make it safe and effective for your clientele. Nice job, Natalie. One last thing, rotation.
You can definitely feel my heart rate getting up.
Well, yes, and it does that. Rotation, we talked about, is the cornerstone. So Natalie, I'd like you to rotate from low to high. Feels very different, right, than high to low. Because now you're working against gravity, and your body has to negotiate that movement. Beautiful. Okay, you're making that look really smooth. So now I'd like you to squat, Natalie.
Yeah.
Bring that
I'll
arm
face you.
down right here.
Yep.
And push. Natalie makes my job easy because she's very strong, very smooth. All of that strength coming from the inside out. Natalie, fantastic job. Great. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Lisa Renee, for taking us through some of those movements. And remember, possibilities are endless on this machine. Use your education. Lisa Renee and I, we spent a lot of money and a lot of time on our education. And I'll speak for myself and say that that's what pulled me to FreeMotion, is that I get to interact with my clients. You have the opportunity to really make a difference in your client's life having this machine. Be creative, use your education, but make sure that there is a purpose for your creation. You know your clients, you know what they need. So make sure that as you create on these amazing machines, that what you prescribe has a purpose to their goal. And what we want you to know and what we want you to feel today is that these machines are so much more than cable and steel. For us, and we hope that you feel the same way, this is an answer to a question. This is the way that people reach the goals that they have in their lives, whether it's weight loss, whether it's I just want to play better with my kids, to be a better athlete. It's the answer. It's so much more than cable and steel. So what we want to leave with you today, and what we hope you take from this video, what we hope you start to incorporate into your training sessions is this: train the way you move in life and sport, and we will all be better and healthier for it.